Hi, I'm Graham and welcome to the GT Woodshop and another 6-minute tool review. The tool I'm going to talk to you about today is the Quansheng Rebate block plane. It's a plane that I've been waiting for months. I bought it from Workshop Heaven. I don't know of any other supplier that stocks them in the UK, and they've had quite a bit of trouble getting them in stock, but they finally got them and it arrived last week. It came reasonably well packaged, cardboard sleeve, over the top of a plywood box, slide out top panel, nothing over fancy, but it did the job. Polythene or expanded foam wrapped all around it, and inside was the plane. The plane was wrapped in a plastic bag and covered in the usual machine oil that's just beastly and horrible, but again, it does the job. So after unpacking and taking it apart, the first thing I did was to check to see how flat the base was. I'll put up a little image in one of the corners here of the flattening process, or a couple of shots of it. But essentially I had to go back to 180 grit and then work my way, 120 grit, and work my way up through 180, 240, 400, 800 and finish with 1200 to get the base flat. And it took me a little over 3 hours to do that. So the base was, or the sole was really badly out. There was a huge dip here in the worst possible place. The heel here and the toe was fine, but the mouth was very bad. The blade, on the other hand, was really quite good. Let me take the blade out and show you. Again, I'll put a pickup of a close-up of the blade, but the blade was flat along the front and down the two sides. There is a hollow in the mid, but that doesn't affect us. So it didn't take very long at all to get the back of the blade flat. And again, the very edge, it didn't take very long at all either, because the blade was essentially very good. The lock iron, or the cap iron, that wasn't bad either. I did have to do a bit of flattening at the front, but in comparison to the sole, very little at all. So packaging was good, delivery was great once the company got it in. Base of the plane really bad, blade quite good, cap iron quite good. Well, I've got it apart. After using it for a few times, I really feel that they could have made this knurled wheel a little larger. Again, I'll zoom in for you, but I'm sure you can see that the edge of the handle protrudes over the side of the knurled wheel. Now I realise there's an issue there. If they allow the wheel too large, your hand could catch it as you're using the plane, and then you could adjust the setting. But that's really quite far in and difficult to adjust when the plane's assembled. So as it's a rebate plane, the blade projects from either side. And one other thing I'll point out, struggling with the wheel a little bit, is that when I took the plane out of the box initially and out of the bag, as I was cleaning the oil off, I'd noticed just in time that the blade had shifted, so it was projecting forward of the sole on this side and out from the edge at this side. So if I hadn't been paying attention, it would have caused quite a nasty little cut. It really looked as if it happened during transit, so potentially the box it was in was dropped by the courier, which was DHL. The plane feels really nice in the hand. There's a good weight to it, which gives it that solid feeling. And obviously with a nice bit of weight to the plane, that's exactly what you want as you're pushing it through across the grain. Low angled, so it's good for end grain, side grain, edge grain, face grain. Doesn't feel as nice in the hand as the Wood River low angle block plane, but I think that's just due to the fact that the sides are hollowed to allow the blade to be exposed, whereas these have got the lovely thumb rests or indentations in them. So that just feels a little better, but I can't hold that against this. It's part of the design. Actual usage, as I said, is quite pleasant, apart from the fact that this wheel's a little fiddly to get to, but once you've got it set to the depth you want, the assembly itself holds the blade in place really well and keeps it where you need it to be. And that feels really good. As I said, a good weight, well balanced, and it gets right in there. So in summary, a great little plane. Feels wonderful in the hand. The assembly keeps the blade nicely in place, performs really well. So if you've got a need for a rebate plane, or even just fancy another plane to add to your collection, I can recommend it. Bit of work to do on the bottom, but once that's done, you're good to go. I'll put a link to the company that I bought it from down in the description. So I hope this was of some use to you if you're considering adding another plane to your collection. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Ta-ra.